Welcome back. Bombard 1701A here. Sorry for the abrupt ending last time, but I guess I don't quite know what I'm doing, do I? Anyway, here is issue 18 of the Star Trek Official Starships collection. Previously covered the USS Dauntless, as shown in the previous video. But anyway, here's the Bajoran Sailor, featured in the Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode called Explorers. So here we have a beautiful image on the cover. Some basic information about it. In operation during the 16th and 22nd century. Type of ship, light ship. Decks 1, crew 2. And it's powered by solar sails. The top speed subliminal, but warp possible via tachyon eddies. Another awesome image here with more information about the ship. Basically, in this episode, Commander Sisko built an exact replica of an ancient Bajoran Solar Sailor vessel that the Bajorans used in the early 16th century. Basically, they included, a living capsule surrounded by enormous solar wind sails. The sails featured basically elegant craftsmanship, but they were also fragile and not really designed for faster than light speeds. More images from the episode. Basically, it was a neat little episode. I think it shows the bonding relationship, of course, between Sisko and his son Jake. That's always nice to see, character development. But anyway, in this episode, Commander Sisko decides to build this ship in order to satisfy the myth that the Bajorans actually, in ancient times I guess, made it all the way across their star system without the aid of warp drive. And everybody told him that it was not possible, it couldn't be done. So he decided to build this ship in the show using the materials that the ancient Bajorans had, and him and his son Jake took off on his journey to prove everybody wrong. And by the end of the episode, it turns out that they did prove everybody wrong, and that's actually the final scene there. The centerfold page, which shows a little bit about the vessel and various components. And once again, back to the world famous, or yeah, I guess you can say world famous, but the famous magazine filler. Again, since the ship was only in one episode and never referenced again, there really isn't much about it to be said, except that's already been printed here. So I guess I put here about the Bajoran system, which is always cool. The Bajoran system has been featured in several episodes of The Next Generation, because Deep Space Nine was actually created during The Next Generation's, I think, late 5th, early 6th season, and the shows actually overlapped a little bit, and there were a couple of episodes where they actually had some crossover characters from each other's shows on board. But anyway, this section talks about the Bajoran system and the various planets and various episodes that they've appeared in. And now to the interesting part about the designing of the Bajoran Solar Sailor. Again, showing concept art. This looks a little too weird for me. I'm glad they went with the design that they did. I can understand the inspiration behind it. Basically, from what it says here, the Bajoran Solar Sailing Ship was a radical design departure that owned as much to Jules Verne as the USS Enterprise, which makes a lot of sense. More conceptual art and renderings and drawings here about the ship. That looks almost like an insect, and this one is pretty close to what they ended up going with. I always find this part fascinating to read. More images here, this one being the closest, and of course the final design. and another screen cap from the episode. I think this is when they actually encountered the Tachyon Eddy and went to warp speed there, much to the surprise of the characters. And here we have the end of the magazine here. Its first appearance was in Explorers, and it was also its last appearance. Did not appear in any movies, and the ship was designed by Jim Martin. Yeah, so basically that's the Bajoran Solar Sailor. Next issue up will be the USS Stargazer, but that won't be until next month. Really looking forward to this one. So yeah, until then, let's get to the ship. Now here it is in an unusually large box. I must admit I was a little scared because I've heard many reports and various reviews of this from other people that this has arrived in pieces for the most part because it's so fragile and gentle, much like its on-screen counterpart. So thankfully in my case the ship arrived fully intact. And yeah, here it is, so let's get this baby out. And if I was afraid of breaking the other one, I'm even more afraid of breaking this one. Just have to gently nudge and get this thing out of here. Now, first impressions. It's alright. I mean, I must admit, this was not a ship that I was looking forward to in the collection. You know, but I can understand why Eagle Moss decided and went on ahead and added this ship in their lineup. For the simple reason that there's a vast array of ships and alien cultures and that spanned across the 45 years of Star Trek history. So it's only fitting that the Bajorans get, you know, a little inclusion in that. And like I said, again, this is not one of my favorite ships, but you know, it's cool. It's nice to have. I wasn't jumping up and down in anticipation or excitement over this like I was over the Dauntless, as previously reviewed in the last video. But this one is nice to have. In terms of its quality, I will give it probably a 6 because it's so gentle. It's so, I guess, yeah, it's so gentle and fragile that you have to be really careful. God forbid this thing falls over. So yeah, this part is made entirely of metal, I think, with some plastic underneath, and the sails are kind of glued on. So yeah, it's okay. It's cool. It looks cool. I'll make sure during the summer, if I turn on any fans, I won't have the fan placed in this direction. This thing might actually literally fly away, especially with these sails. So yeah, that's the Bajoran Solar Sailor, what I think of it. You know, again, it's not my favorite, but I'm glad to have it. I'm glad they included it. And I look forward to the Stargazer next month, and I think that comes with another one, the Klingon Vorcha-class cruiser, which I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, next month promises to be 2 ships that I'm looking forward to. Yeah, so that's the Bajoran Solar Sailor. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you next time on The Fly.